Indonesia is a wonderland.
Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. It is a great pleasure and an honor to welcome you to the 12th Annual Indonesia Economic Forum, IEF, the curtain raiser on Indonesia Open Network, ION held under the theme, the Digital Archipelago. Ladies and gentlemen, may I kindly invite you to rise for the singing of the national anthem of the Republic of Indonesia, Indonesia Raya. Thank you. Please be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to extend a warm welcome and respectfully acknowledge the presence of our distinguished guest, His Excellency Maman Abdurrahman, Minister for Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, MSMEs, Republic of Indonesia. His Excellency Nesar Patria, Vice Minister of Communication and Digital Republic of Indonesia. His Excellency Sandip Chakravorty, Ambassador of India to Indonesia. Dr. Ilham A. Habibi, Chairman PII, Persatuan Insinyur Indonesia. Mrs. Simta Kamdani, Chairman Indonesia Employers Association. Mr. T. Kosi, CEO and Managing Director ONDC, Open Network for Digital Commerce. Dr. R.S. Sharma, former Chairman ONDC, Open Network for Digital Commerce. Mr. Suresh Sethi, Managing Director and CEO Protean. Mr. Ronald Walla, Head of MSME for Apindo, President Director of Wismila Group. Mr. Vikram Sinha, CEO Indosat. Dr. Rani Bakmore, Chairman Asian Youth for Digital Action Global AWS Education Program, Principal APJC. Mr. Siddharth Prakash, Head of Product Strategy Emerging Market, Google Cloud. Mr. Nilay Patel, Founder EasyPay. Mr. Surab Gupta, SVP Product Flip. Dr. Bayu Prawirahi, Digital Transformation Expert, Executive Director, Intellectual Business Community, IBC. Mr. Sup Kagda, Co-founder Economic Forum. Mr. Primus Dorimulu, CEO InvestorTrust.id. Mr. Sachin Vigopalan, CEO and founder Indonesia Economic Forum. And all distinguished guests in attendance. It is our honor to invite Mr. Sachin Vigopalan, CEO and founder Indonesia Economic Forum, to deliver the opening remarks. Mr. Sachin, the floor is yours.
Well, good morning to our distinguished guests today, especially Bapak Maman Abdul Rahman, the Minister. Thank you very much, Bapak, for your support. Pak Nezar Patria, Waman Komdiji, Ambassador Sandeep Chakravarti, the Ambassador of India, and all the other guests, including Ibu Shinta, Pak Ilham, Dr. Sharma, Koshi. Sorry if I don't mention everybody one by one. But first of all, I would like to welcome you to the 12th Indonesia Economic Forum. We have been around for 12 years, and I think we are one of the longest standing conferences in Indonesia. It's my privilege, therefore, to have a special event today. Not only is it a conference on digital, but it's also about talking about something very essential to what Indonesia needs. I'll give you a little context. Indonesia by nature, as you know, is an archipelago. And that's why the term for the theme today is the Digital Archipelago. What do we mean by this? We have 17,000 islands, we have diverse cultures, but we have unequal access, and we have fragmented markets. So if you remember, for the last 30, 40, 50 years, we've always talked about our challenge being physical connectivity. But today, our challenge, and I change the word, it's not challenge, our opportunity is digital connectivity. How do we ensure that every island, every city, every kabupaten, every regency, and every village can participate meaningfully in Indonesia's digital economy? That's the opportunity that we are here to discuss today. Digital infrastructure is no longer about speed or scale, but it's about inclusion. That's the key word, inclusion, interoperability, and trust. If we can achieve these three words, we have a digital economy for all. And this is what we say when the Digital Archipelago is not a centralized platform, but it's a network of platforms, a network of networks. What we are doing here today is to interconnect everybody who's already there. We are not creating something new. We are looking at what is existing and interconnecting them, making it interoperable. And that is something remarkable because we are connecting digital payments, logistics, e-commerce, etc., in order to create financial inclusion. But we must also recognize the hard truth. This is not easy. Much of this growth has been uneven. You see big cities, big towns, they have gone ahead, leaving behind many who are not able to participate. And when I say leaving behind, I specifically say UMKM, MSME sector. They are the reason for us to put together this whole program today, which is why we have Minister Maman here with us to talk about how the importance of connecting each and every UMKM in the country will be a game changer. And he will be talking more about that today. So this forum today is important because it's the curtain raiser to a national program, a national priority. and as some people like to say, a gerakan. How can this be a gerakan where everybody comes together? Apindo, the media, the ministry, the various institutions come together to create something meaningful for our citizens of Indonesia. And this is where I believe we can work together, starting from an important date, which is the 5th of February, 2026. So, ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia's journey to Indonesia Emas 2045 will not be achieved by any one person, one institution, or a sector. It will be achieved through collaboration, working together, government, industry, startups, associations, global partners, civil societies, working together to build digital Indonesia. And today we are fortunate to have a lot of technology players in the room who have come from various parts of the world, showing their commitment to work with Indonesia to build what we could say is truly the digital archipelago. Thank you very much, and I look forward to a meaningful afternoon, as well as morning with all of you. And thank you. Over to the MC.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sajin P. Gopalan. Moving forward, it is our great honor to invite Dr. Ilham A. Habibi, Chairman Indonesia Engineer Association, PIE, to deliver his introductory speech. Please welcome Dr. Ilham A. Habibi.
Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera, peace be upon all of us. The Honorable Minister for Small and Medium Enterprises, Mr. Maman Abdul Rahman. The Honorable Vice Minister for Communication and Digital, Mr. Neza Patria. The Excellency, the Ambassador of India to Indonesia, Mr. Sandeep Chakraborty. My dear friend, Ibu Shinta Kamdani, as a chairwoman of APindo, Indonesian Employers Association. So Dr. Sharma, the Indonesian Open Network chairperson, I think, yeah. And also my dear friend Sachin Gopalan, the head of Indonesia Economic Forum, Mr. Koshi, Indonesian Open Network as well, Primus from Investor Trust, the CEO of Indosat, Mr. Vikram Sinha, then Pak Heri Gunardi, I haven't seen yet, but maybe his representative from BRI, the Bank Rakyat Indonesia, the People's Bank, Mr. Siddharth Prakash, Head of Product Strategy Google Cloud, and of course also Mr. Satvinder Singh, the DSG of ASEAN, James Castle from Castle Asia, and of course everybody else, and I'm sorry not mention everybody one by one in this room. It's my pleasure and honor to be in front of you and give a few remarks only because I think there's going to be many more this morning about what we are going to see today. We're going to speak about the Indonesia Open Network. And I think many people probably have a feeling what this is going to be, but you have to imagine this like we have seen in Indonesia the revolution of payments through the QRIS. Right? It is so easy and everybody can do it at a very low cost. Indonesia wants to do something that has been done before in another country. That's why we see a large presence from another very big country, which is India. And India has, many years ago, pioneered the idea of the so-called digital public infrastructure to make digital technology available at the lowest cost possible for everybody in order to empower as many people as possible. And that is possible at a very large scale. And we are not copy-pasting, but we try to learn from the Indian experience in order to come up with our own solution about what does it mean to empower as many Indonesians as possible using technology in order to empower them in their lives. Sachin mentioned already small, medium enterprises. Pak Maman, of course, we have more than 60 million, which is almost 20% of our population. So you can imagine 1 out of 5 Indonesian is somewhat involved in the small, medium-sized enterprise. Yeah? I mean, there's so many, and so if you would empower those ladies and gentlemen only, we're talking about a very big part of our population. And so the Indonesian Open Network is exactly that. We want to really make technology available for everybody. Yes, it's going to be for commercial purposes. Yes, I think there's also a big part of education in it. If you talk about digital technology, I think literacy is a key point, so people need to understand how to use it. Also, they need to be understand how to not only use it, but to basically to use it for whatever they want to do, how they can make transactions with it, how they can get education, even health. Everything can be empowered through digital means, and the more we make that literacy and access to the infrastructure, to the tools available, the more we move forward. Digital economy is certainly a big part of our economy. It's not the only part, but I think today it's fair to say that every sector of our economy certainly has a digital component in it. Yeah? So it's hard to imagine that anything that we do today has nothing digital in it. I think even the sectors that we probably don't associate with digital means are more and more digitalized, either directly or indirectly. So I'm very happy to be here. I was mentioned here as the chairperson of the Indonesian Engineers Association. I have also another function since many, many years, which is the executive director of the so-called National Council for ICT, or Information Communication Technology, which is one TICNAS, and I collaborate in that regard a lot with, of course, the Ministry for Communication and Digital, but also with other ministries. And again, this is something very important, digital. We know this since many years, but what we want to do here is basically to make it available as much as possible to as many as possible people at the lowest cost. I think I'll leave it like this because there's many more things to be said, and I'll leave it like this. Thank you very much. And again, I look forward to today's discussion. Thank you. I'll give it back to the moderator.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ilham Habibie. Next, it is our great pleasure to invite Mr. Suresh Setty, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer Protean, to deliver his introductory speech. Distinguished guests, please join me in welcoming Mr. Suresh Setty.
A very good morning. Good morning to the Honorable Ministers, His Excellency Ambassador from India, distinguished policymakers, industry leaders, and fellow ecosystem builders. It's a privilege to be here and an honor to participate in Indonesia's Economic Forum at such a momentous occasion. With Indonesia Open Network, Indonesia is not just launching another digital initiative, it's a foundational step towards building a shared digital infrastructure that can shape how markets evolve, how inclusion is achieved at national scale, and how competition can be sustained. We bring experiences from India. Over the past decade, we had the opportunity to build and deploy population-scale digital infrastructure at unprecedented speed. What traditionally takes multiple years was able to be institutionalized in a very short period of time. The acceleration was not accidental. It was the result of deliberate choices around architecture, around governance, and around public and private collaboration. At the heart of it was the interoperable DPI layers that standardize access and ensure neutrality. On top of the DPI rails, we have applications, we have business models and services competing freely. This structure has allowed us scale and scalability at the base while preserving competition and creativity at the edges. One of the most ambitious expressions of this approach in India has been ONDC, the Open Network for Digital Commerce. I'm happy to share that we as an organization had the privilege of contributing to the development of the core digital rails, and therefore would like to share ONDC journey not as a model to be replicated, but as a set of lived learnings, what worked, what proved harder than anticipated, and what we would consciously design differently if we were starting all over again. These learnings may be useful as Indonesia shapes ION in a way that reflects its own economy, geography, and priorities. Taking a quick sharing from India's journey, by 2020, India was one of the fastest growing digital economies in the world. Smartphone adoption was widespread. Digital payments were scaling rapidly. E-commerce growth exceeded 25% annually. Yet beneath this growth was a structural imbalance. India has more than 60 million micro, small, and medium enterprises. While they contribute significantly to employment and GDP, most were not participating meaningfully in digital commerce. Online demand was concentrated on a handful of platforms. Discoverability was controlled. Sellers faced high commissions. Data and consumer relationships were largely locked in. While digital commerce was expanding, economic participation was not expanding evenly. We faced similar structural challenges earlier in payments, but payments were fragmented until UPI created open interoperable rails. This experience prompted a simple but important question. If identity can be open, payments can be open, why not digital commerce? We see very similarities with Indonesia's ecosystem. It is already one of Southeast Asia's most vibrant digital commerce markets, driven not only by consumption, but by millions of entrepreneurs building livelihood through commerce. Indonesia has already demonstrated how national-scale interoperability can work through shared rails like QR-based payments. Therefore, the strategic question is, as digital commerce grows, will the value and bargaining power also decentralize? ONDC emerged from this challenge, and from the outset, it was designed not as a marketplace, but as an infrastructure. The intent was not to create another destination app, but to create a common language for commerce, a set of open protocols that allow buyers, sellers, logistic providers, and payment systems to discover and transact seamlessly. The design choices were very clear. In a closed-loop platform, a single entity controls the end-to-end consumer experience. Here we were looking at a decoupled ecosystem where people could plug in and no single player can capture the market by controlling access. ONDC was built on the belief that while there was a complexity in unbundling, the benefits of competition, resilience, and inclusion would structurally provide long-term benefits. I would like to share some of the learnings which became very clear. Firstly, adoption needs frictionless onboarding and visible ecosystem momentum. Technology alone does not create a network. Adoption does. Adoption only happens when onboarding is simple, standardized, and low cost, so that every seller, logistics partner, and buyer app can plug in fast. But even that isn't enough. An open network has no single brand, no single front door, so awareness doesn't build automatically. One of the strongest acceleration is early participation by large, credible ecosystem players who amplify reach. Second is that trust is the real currency in this case because we are working in an open ecosystem. Users don't trust protocols. Important learning is they trust outcomes, accurate catalogs, predictable delivery, reliable refunds. So in India, we learned you must build a trust layer from day one. Quality scoring, grievance redressal, dispute mechanism, and service level commitments. Thirdly, incentives are not a weakness but are a strategy. Every open network needs early catalytic momentum. Temporary incentives help break the chicken and egg problem, but they must be designed as a bridge and not as a permanent crutch. Fourth, logistics is not a supporting function, it is the backbone. Retail networks collapse if logistics don't scale. If you want the network to work at national scale, treat logistics as standards. Fifth, keep the network open, but keep the standards very strict. Open doesn't mean uncontrolled. The network must remain open for innovation, strict on compliance to protect consumers, and create a level playing field. And finally, and most important, government stewardship plays a vital role. In open commerce, there is no single platform operator to arbitrate disputes or enforce standards. ONDC highlighted the importance of a neutral government-backed stewardshipness and ombudsman to resolve systemic issues, maintain trust, ensure that the rules of the network remain fair and transparent. Together, these are lessons of execution that can only emerge at scale. Today, while ONDC has processed hundreds of millions of transactions across mobility, retail, groceries, and services, it is critical that we look at what takes it forward. Indonesia is uniquely positioned to build on these learnings. The MSMEs contribute nearly 60% to the GDP, and the geography makes logistics interoperability essential. ION can become a powerful catalyst for growth. I would also like to encourage a broader lens. Open networks should not be viewed only through the prism of commerce. The same interoperable protocols can be extended to jobs and gig work, enabling portable worker identities and fair discovery. They can support financial inclusion by allowing credit, insurance, savings products to plug into the transaction histories with consent. Over time, ION has the potential to become part of a broader economic fabric, allowing Indonesians to participate across markets and without being locked into any single intermediary. Indonesia has the vision, ION has the opportunity. If India's experience offers any important lesson, it is this, that trust and true success of open networks is not measured by one winner, but by millions of empowered participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Suresh Sethi, for your insightful remarks. We will now continue, and it is our pleasure to invite Mr. Siddharth Prakash, Head of Product Strategy for Emerging Market at Google Cloud, to deliver his introductory speech. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in warmly welcoming Mr. Siddharth Prakash.
Honorable Ministers, Honorable Ambassador Sandeep, Arish Sharma sir, Koshi sir, and distinguished colleagues in the room. A very good morning to everybody. It's an absolute honor and a pleasure to step in today and share my perspective on a topic that's not only very close to my heart, but also central to Google's vision for emerging markets. Over the last couple of years, we've been engaging with a lot of governments, and we increasingly hear the focus of governments towards moving to digital public infrastructure. This is to enable citizen scale in a faster, cheaper, and more efficient way, and be able to reach the citizens and deliver services that matter the most to them. Economies across the world, especially in emerging markets, are increasingly looking towards how to create more livelihoods, how to increase commerce, how to even bring people closer to what they like to do and be able to get jobs and so on. We believe the fundamental shift with open networks is something that we have seen in India is a way forward for emerging economies to really benefit at scale. Within Indonesia, with more than 60 million MSMEs contributing around more than a lot towards the GDP of the country, we believe setting up ION, which is a great initiative and we are proud to be part of, is going to open and unlock that opportunity where more people will be able to participate in the economy. They will be able to contribute more and be able to move from being just online to actually be able to transact and essentially making the whole economy more inclusive. Like Suresh mentioned, we believe the potential for ION is way, way more than commerce. Commerce obviously is a way for people to transact and be able to get what they're looking for, but it is more horizontal. It cuts across multiple sectors like livelihoods, it cuts across sectors like agriculture, it cuts across a lot of other things like mobility and so on and so forth. With open networks, the advantage is the decoupling. Because there is no single entity controlling end-to-end flow and everything is decoupled, everybody has a role to play, and that is towards bringing a very, very inclusive ecosystem. We have seen this in India, and just in 2025, around 200 billion transactions on ONDC happened within a period of 12 months. And what's also interesting to note is that the last 100 billion transactions actually happened within a period of less than 6 months, which means that if you build technology or you build ecosystems which are open and fair, that let everybody be part of it, the adoption very quickly happens. We are very glad that as Google, our commitment is towards helping build digital public infrastructure in a very open, fair, and sovereign way. And we look forward to working with all of you in this room to make ION a massive success in the country. Again, many congratulations to Indonesia and the leadership of the government to take this initiative. Our commitment is to really, really make this happen. I just want to leave you with this one thought. Imagine this country 1 year from now where 60 million MSMEs who are really keen to work and transact online. What if they were able to not only transact in Indonesia, but also across ASEAN and other regions? Open Network has that potential to make that happen. And Indonesia is one of the first countries to actually embark on that vision and be able to do this. And we are with you to make this happen. Thank you very much and have a great day.
Thank you very much, Mr. Siddharth Prakash, for your insightful remarks. We will now proceed to the next speech, and it's our great pleasure to invite Mr. Vikram Sinha, Chief Executive Officer of Indosat, to deliver his introductory speech. Please join me in warmly welcoming Mr. Vikram Sinha.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Semangat pagi, everyone. I got the opportunity to meet Papa Minister Maman, also Panezar, our Vice Minister. I work very closely with him on a lot of mandate, Ambassador Sandeep, and all the distinguished guests here. Let me start by highlighting something very important. I've been in this country for close to 7 years now. When we talk about SME, UMCA, please understand it's more than 60 million. How many countries in Southeast Asia has a population of 60 million? I don't think so many. So this itself is bigger than a country of any Southeast Asian. I think this is a very important point to pick up, that how everyone need to focus here, number one. Number two, I had the opportunity to work with Pa Balil, BICA PM, 2021, to build OSS, Online Single Submission. I had to put 1 hour every day, I'm telling you jujurly, 1 hour every day because it was a very complex project. Indosat got the project, but it was converting a law into an online single system. What gave me motivation was, we talk about 60 million, 62 million. We need these platforms which helps us understand, kachil, small, how many are there, how we can remove their friction. I think the important point I'm trying to say is, for Indonesia, 95% of employment is SME. More than 60% GDP contribution SME. For Indonesia to be strong, and any company like Indosat, Google, or anyone to be strong, we need a strong SME. Without a strong SME, you can't have a very strong Indonesia. So this is the key point, what motivates me to always work towards that. The other point I want to highlight is, because I was working with data, women plays a very important role. When you go deep and understand data, I think Indonesia has an opportunity. We need to give equal opportunity to women on participate on this SME platform and flourish. Now talking about ONDC and Indonesia Open Network. I think a lot of good things have been spoken about it. My personal take, one, what does it do? It helps you kill corruption. And when you are trying to kill corruption, it needs the personal mandate of the highest level in the government. In India, ONDC got successful just because Prime Minister Modi put a weight behind it. So it's not about technology. It is about fighting corruption. It is about fighting middlemen. It is about fighting friction. So I want to leave this thought that how important, if there is not full mandate of government from the top, these kind of things will fizzle out within 6 to 9 months. And I want to take this opportunity to highlight it here. Last, Indosat has been in the connectivity business for 58 years. We were one of the first company in Indonesia, state-owned company to connect. We have been in the connectivity business, but now is the time where we can take intelligence to the edge. It is not about all this big model. How are we solving problem for our villagers? I was with Panezar at Jayapura. We saw ourselves how a doctor can benefit if he get right intelligence. And he will do everything. It is not that AI will replace doctor. AI will help doctor take right decision. It will help doctor save life. And that is where at Indosat from connectivity, we have built a compute, which is GPU. Now we are working with NVIDIA to create a grid. Telco is the only entity, whether it is Telkomsel, Indosat, we are the only entity which is sovereign who can take intelligence to the edge. So we are building AI grid to take small language, to take intelligence to the villagers. And I look forward, there is a lot of seriousness. I'm very confident that some of these things which has helped benefit the poorest in India will help benefit the poorest in Indonesia. And that is why the time has come that both these countries work together to benefit the people of Indonesia. Terima kasih.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vikram Sinha, Chief Executive Officer of Indosat. To gain a deeper understanding of what ION is, it will be explained shortly, and it is our pleasure to invite Mrs. Sinta Kamdani, Chairwoman of the Indonesia Employers Association, to deliver a presentation on ION. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in warmly welcoming Mrs. Sinta Kamdani.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera buat kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Tentunya yang kami hormati Bapak Menteri UMKM, Bapak Maman, Bapak Wakil Menteri Komdiji, Bapak Nesa Patria, of course Ambassador, Excellency Ambassador of India to Indonesia, our good friend Ambassador Sadip, many distinguished guests here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity for inviting also Apindo into, I call it this consortium. But I first have to mention this, that this is such a power of Indonesia and India, don't you think so? Ambassador, I think you have done great work. Many Indonesian Indian here trying to make this work. But what attracts Apindo to begin with is the fact that this system, most importantly, will benefit our MSME. So we are here because we really believe this will be a game changer for MSME in Indonesia. So we are here to support also Pak Menteri UMKM, Pak Maman Abdurrahman. Thank you. So it's a pleasure for us to be here at the 12th Annual Indonesia Economic Forum, and we call it the curtain rise of Indonesia Open Network, because this is not really the full launch, but it's a curtain rising. And we call the theme the Big Unlock. The Big Unlock is not about unlocking only one sector, one platform, or one program. The Big Unlock means unlocking economic participation at scale by removing structural friction that prevent millions of capable businesses from accessing market, finance, and value chains. And we therefore, before we talk about the solution, we need to be honest about the reality on the ground, which is, if MSME are the backbone of our economy, why do so many remain economically constrained? And more importantly, where is this structural gap? So I've been asked to present, so bear with me for some slides here to be shared. But I want to start with the fact that it was mentioned before, MSME contribute over 60% of Indonesia GDP, absorb nearly 97% of our workforce, and account for more than 60% of total investment. Yet, when we look at the export, MSME contribute only about 15%. These gaps really tell us that MSME are economically significant, but structurally constrained. Today, MSME face 6 interconnected challenges: the market access, financing, labor, legal governance, stakeholder engagement, and enhancing capacity. MSME are often disconnected from larger value chains, anchor buyers, and corporate ecosystem. So this is why when we talk about Apindo, UMKM or MSME become one of our leading programs in Apindo. And I wanted to share some of the programs that we are currently doing. On UMKM Merdeka, this is a national capacity building initiative built on a triple helix of collaboration. We call not just internship in big industry, but this time UMKM Merdeka provide the platform for internship students in the small, medium enterprises. And this is really a pentahelix ecosystem. Through this program, students will work directly with MSME and digital adoption, financial literacy, marketing, and business mentoring. And the program is already active across 19 provinces in all Indonesia, and also supported by many of the big corporations. This is also complemented by the UMKM Night Class, which we call a series of structured online and offline programs delivered through Apindo provincial and district chapters across the 38 provinces. This is practical, having MSME improving their business model, branding, digital marketing, and so forth. To further strengthen the digital capability, Apindo also runs what we call the Digital Learning Hub, a virtual platform that enables MSME to adopt digital tools, improve online sales, and make better use of financial technology. We also collaborate closely with financial sector through the Apindo UOB FinLab UMKM Success Accelerator, which support SMEs in adopting digital finance tool, POS system, business analysis, and so forth. Beyond the capacity building, Apindo create pathway for MSME to enter larger corporate ecosystem through business matching, supply chain access program that support procurement readiness, quality standard, and market integration. And also we place an active role in advocacy, working with policymakers to reduce barrier to digital onboarding, promoting fairer e-commerce conditions, and so forth. Now, if we look at the collaboration with some ministries, of course, we've done this on the UMKM Merdeka with also Minister of Higher Education, Science and Technology. But most importantly, we work closely with the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises to ensure the development is systemic. And this collaboration focus on strategically aligning Apindo MSME roadmap with continuous policy evaluation. The fundamental priorities are clear: building a comprehensive and inclusive entrepreneurship ecosystem through digital integration, enhancing access to finance, and strengthening partnership networks to expand market reach and production capacity and supply chain integration. So together, this partnership really demonstrates the public-private collaboration that turns MSME digitalization into a more measurable outcome: safe growth, job creation, and long-term resilience. Over the years, we have invested heavily in training, financing, and incubation. And this intervention, ladies and gentlemen, matter. Why? Because they build readiness. Readiness alone, though, does not create the skill. Our Apindo survey makes this gap visible. Only 32.5% of MSMEs say they are satisfied with Indonesia digital infrastructure policy. And only 12.4% of retail MSME have fully adopted digitalization. So the issue is conversion, the ability to turn readiness into scalable outcome. And this is why we say MSME readiness is not the same as MSME scalability. So to make this clear, we frame it with a simple formula: scalability equal to readiness multiplied by open digital infrastructure. When MSME operate in a closed digital system, the friction is repeated and structural. Onboarding must be done platform by platform, and access is locked into a single ecosystem. Data is controlled by platform, costs accumulate through dependency, and policy impact remains limited. By contrast, an open digital infrastructure changes this whole equation. MSME joined once, and capability become reusable. Access works across platform. Data remains MSME control. Efficiency is driven by competition and impacts sales across the ecosystem, not just with one platform. And this is why training, financing, and incubation create readiness. But with open digital infrastructure, readiness never become skill. So without the open digital, it will not happen. Our MSME are producing, employing, and surviving, but they are not yet fully integrated into an open, efficient, and scalable economic system. So I think this is really why we are here, why this is important that we are adopting this EON into the system. When we see in the next slide, I wanted to address the two phases that actually we are doing. In the past few years, MSME empowerment has become a large flagship of Apindo Priority National Agenda, driven by the conviction that readiness, capability, and access are critical to Indonesia's long-term economic resilience. Our core UMKM Merdeka is really bringing a new paradigm of how MSME can really increase their capacity. But if you really see here, we have to address how can MSME really increase and penetrate more to the market. So if we look at the starting of capacity and compliance building, training MSME to improve productivity and meet formal market standard. They are not just active, but eligible to participate in larger market. So phase one is about building this MSME readiness, and also followed by supply chain integration, where public policy and private sector execution are aligned to connect MSME into larger production and distribution network. This is phase anchored by strategic policy alignment, ensuring that government MSME support translates into real business outcome, not just program outputs. But readiness on its own, like I mentioned, still stops short of scale. So phase two, we have to get the slide before. Yes, on the phase two. The phase two, through the open digital commerce layer, MSME are able to sell across the banking apps, telco platform, and enterprise system simultaneously without having to rebuild themselves for each of the platform. This also means moving beyond single marketplace locking. And MSME can reach diverse buyers through community platform and procurement tools. And when readiness meets the open market access, the result becomes measurable. Business readiness is converted into real growth outcome, higher sales, job creation, and stronger resilience. So in essence, EON does not replace readiness program, it completes them by turning preparation into participation and participation into revenue. In the next slide, while Apindo is advancing its UMKM empowerment program focused on helping the small businessmen become more competitive, working in coordination with the Ministry of Small Medium Enterprises, Kementerian UMKM, the program strengthened alignment between public policy and private sector execution. So UMKM support translate into real business outcome. EON accelerate this agenda by adding the missing market access layer, and once the UMKM is prepared through Apindo Ministry initiative, they can onboard once and sell across many channels via open digital commerce. In effect, Apindo and the ministry build UMKM readiness while EON converts this readiness into transaction. Now, to translate this collaboration into measurable impact, a joint action to scale this market access, accelerate MSME adoption, and convert readiness into this real business transaction. So, the plan focused on integrating EON onboarding into core empowerment programs such as Apindo UMKM Merdeka, Digital Learning Hub, expanding implementation through our national network while also ensuring the long-term impact of this collaboration is a shared goal of inclusive economic growth. So again, ladies and gentlemen, EON gives us a powerful opportunity to align the public policy with private sector capability. It allows government direction, business execution, and digital infrastructure to move as one system. We ensure that Indonesia MSME do not simply go digital, but become competitive, sustainable, and globally connected, integrated into this value chain, able to reach diverse market and resilient in a rapidly changing economy. So, lastly, I want to say that readiness is supply, but opportunity is demand. ION is the market that finally clears both. This is how MSME empowerment moves beyond programs and platform into a system that scales, endures, and delivers real economic impact. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Simta Kamdani, Chairwoman of the Indonesia Employees Association, for your valuable insight. We will now continue, and it is our pleasure to invite Mr. T. Koshi, Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of ONDC Open Network for Digital Commerce, to deliver a presentation on ION. Please welcoming Mr. T. Koshi.
Good morning. Respected Minister Maman Abdurrahman, Vice Minister Nasir Patrio, Ambassador Sandeep, Dr. R.S. Sharma, Dr. Habibi, other dignitaries and industry leaders present, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a pleasure for me to stand here, because an idea on which I believe, the idea on which I got an opportunity to participate and play a role, is now seen and adopted by very many countries across the world. And Indonesia is one of the early adopters, and I believe is going to be the example of an idea, how an idea can be adopted, built, and made great by the commitment from the senior most leaders and participation from the industry. My job is here to put a little more context to the idea of open network. We heard all the speakers talking about the possibilities. I'll put a little deeper into the idea. You know, if you remember, internet, it's not even more than one generation old. That's why I still remember how it started up in the early 80s, when TCP/IP became a protocol that made it possible for computers to talk across continents. Then came Tim Berners-Lee made HTTP, that made WWW reality, and that made it possible for every common man to participate and not just geeks and computer scientists. Then came SMTP that made it possible for communicate each other. But if you look at something that is very common about all the three, probably we have taken these things for granted, that we don't understand this, that it was set on fundamental democratic principles. And that is why it was able to explode in its adoption at such speed. What was that is that all these three development were public goods. Nobody was making money out of it, and it was building on top of it. But industry was able to innovate on top of it and operational system and made it available, and the innovators built on the top of it. But when it came to commerce, the path just changed a little bit. The commerce became walled gardens. Few enterprises created proprietary protocol to practically take control of each domain. So if you go anywhere in the world, we have in every domain 2 or 3 enterprises practically controlling everybody. And that has become a challenge. So many to face this one by regulation. Americans are trying to do America Innovation and Choice Online Act, which is a regulatory approach to control the concentration and priority dealings. Europeans are trying to do Digital Market Access Act. There also the fundamental problem is the same. Market concentration and preferential dealment of their friends and relatives. But in India decided to go a slightly different path. India decided to use technology and markets and enabling policy as a way to approach this. So if you look at this, the open network is a digital infrastructure that enables inclusive commerce. So I'll go a little deeper into how this works for the benefit of a largest cross-section of people who have come here. If you look at on the left side, it represents today's platform-centric world. If you see, there are 3 platforms that is showing. For the simplicity of purpose, I am showing on one side the seller and the other side the buyers. If you look at platform A, has certain sellers, S1 and S2, and they can be visible only to the consumers of that platform A. And similarly, platform B and platform C. It becomes a challenge. So if I am a seller, if I want to have the full market access, I have to connect to multiple platforms. And that platforms becomes a controller of business. So intermediary has become the controller of the business, not the producer or the consumer. So that is why the idea of an open network that comes. The right side, what you see is the idea of an open network. We have created an open protocol which is giving you 2 capabilities to the whole ecosystem. Unbundling of components and interoperability. So what you're now seeing on the right side is now unbundling of the components of commerce, which is the selling interface and the buying interface. And if you are a seller linked to any one single platform, you become visible to all the market. So that is what, the spirit behind the open network. Onboard once and be visible for everybody. So today, as my previous speakers explained, it is not just about commerce, this is not about consumer products, this is not about electronic, it's about every product and services that is possible. So if you see the big picture of how it will evolve over a period of time, that every product and service which is catalogable can become available through a single integration onto this network. And very different kinds of buying interfaces will come and help their buyers to buy whatever that is relevant. So it is going to change the life of everybody. Let's take 1 or 2 examples. A farmer, for him it becomes possible through the network to buy better options for inputs, better options for services or better options for assaying, and better options to reach markets not just in his vicinity but across the country and probably across the world. It empowers an artisan. It empowers a micro business. Because if you look at the current kind of commerce, unless you are reasonably big, many of the components are too expensive or unavailable to you. Whether it is credit, if you are a small business and you don't have any collateral, your interest cost is 50 to 70 to 100%. You don't have an access to a good logistics network because you are irrelevant for him. You don't have an access to a good warehouse network because foundational it is not there. You can't even build up a nationwide reputation because reputation becomes the private property of the platforms. Whereas open network changed all this. And that is the spirit behind all of them. So this has a potential so I would like to summarize by this saying, this has a potential now to transform the complete face of commerce and transaction. And this becomes possible only by the participation of all segments. It is not by throwing millions of dollars out and giving deep discounting or predatory pricing. It comes by the endorsement that comes from the highest authority, support that comes from the big business, support that comes from the philanthropic organization, and the initiative and innovations of billions of people and industrialists and small business who gets an opportunity to participate with the same right and opportunity as a big business. And that is about inclusion. And so this will become a success only when it becomes a collective movement of everybody coming together, not few people throwing money, try to garner and take control. So this is an idea whose time has come. And we can't stop it. And I'm thankful to all of you for coming here today to know about it, learn about it, and become the ambassadors to make this to a movement across Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tikosi, founding MD and CEO of ONDC Open Network for Digital Commerce, for your insightful presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now move to one of the highlights of today's event. It is our great honor to invite His Excellency Sandeep Chakravorty, Ambassador of India to Indonesia, to deliver the keynote speech.
Assalamualaikum, selamat pagi, good morning, namaste. Bapa Menteri, His Excellency Maman Abdurrahman, Bapa Wakil Menteri, His Excellency Nizar Patria, Dr. R.S. Sharma, my senior colleague and founder chairman of ONDC, my friend Ibu Shinta Kamdani, chairperson of Apindo, Dr. Suresh Sethi, MD and CEO of Protean, Mr. T. Koshi, founder CEO of ONDC, Siddharth Prakash from Google Cloud, Pa Primus, Pa Sachin, friends, Harold from ITA. I think we have heard very serious presentations, so I thought I will lighten up the mood a little bit. And I was thinking, everybody was talking of market. So I believe that what is true for commerce is also true for e-commerce, that you need market. And I will tell you a small story from one village in Indonesia. There was a sweet maker. He used to make sweets. And he had two sons who were quite useless. They would sit at home and eat his father's sweets, getting fat. So father was very unhappy with the two sons. So one day he said, okay, you need to earn your living. And he made two sets of sweets. One basket he filled with clip-on. We all know what is clip-on. And the other basket he filled with onde. And he said, you go out and you sell the sweets. And until you sell every sweet, don't come back home. And if you're hungry, I give you 10,000 rupiah, you buy lunch somewhere. So the boys were quite useless, so they asked the father, what is the cost of each onde and each clip-on? He said 10,000 rupiah. So they went out into the market in the village, and half a day passed in the sun, no buyers, nothing. They didn't know how to do marketing. So they started feeling hungry. So one brother asked the other, how much is your onde? He said 10,000. Okay, I have 10,000. So he bought it from the brother. And the other brother said, okay, how much is your clip-on? So he bought it from the other. So they started buying from each other and giving each other 10,000. End of the day, one had eaten all the clip-ons, the other had eaten all the onde. And they came back very happy that we have sold all our sweets to each other, and told the father, we have even saved the 10,000 rupiah, we didn't buy lunch. The point I want to make is that unless you have a market, and if you only sell in your own, then you will never do wealth creation. You will never be able to create extra surpluses. I think the time has come, as Koshi said, that our MSMEs, our people who are producing goods and services in remote areas, they need a market. And I think ION and ONDC in India has done, and ION will do it in Indonesia. I hope that lightened up the mood of the room, but I want to just get into the bilateral context, why we have ION in Indonesia, and also what is the mandate that we are delivering on. Everywhere, in every forum, whether it is the G20, BRICS, the United Nations, everywhere people are talking of open networks. And I think when today is a very, very historic moment, it's not only a landmark for India-Indonesia ties, but I think it's a very defining moment for the Indonesian economy. We are at a cusp where we have to move from the traditional 5% growth that Indonesia has been registering to 8%. And we need leverages, we need some things to happen in the economy which will catapult Indonesia from the middle income trap. And I believe personally that ION could be one game changer for Indonesia. Second point which I wanted to make is that we are all reading about AI, and fears about AI are there, that many sections of the world will get excluded by AI. When that narrative is becoming strong, I think this narrative of an inclusive network makes people more comfortable, that there are people who are thinking about us, and there is an inclusive narrative, and people should join that inclusive narrative. So I believe today is a very, very momentous occasion, and with the support of the government and in the form of the presence of the Minister of MSME and the Vakil Mantri of ComDG, I believe, and Apindo of course, and everybody else, including what we heard from Pa Vikram, I think the support is there, and this could be the platform. When President Prabowo visited India last year in January, if you read the joint statement issued by Prime Minister Modi and President Prabowo, it said that the leaders affirmed their commitment to accelerate collaboration in the areas such as digital public infrastructure, digital B2B partnership, digital capacity building, and cybersecurity for inclusive growth and addressing global challenges. So I believe ION is a practical expression of that vision of our leaders, translating policy intent into real economic outcomes for MSMEs and citizens. This is not a cooperation between only governments, but at the level of everyday commerce. It is inclusive, it is a people-to-people kind of a construct where people will join in, and I think technology has broken the barriers, and as we saw in T. Koshi's presentation, it allows customers to see sellers, and it is not broken down into platforms through walls which are impenetrable. As we all know, and I think our friend from Protean quite explicitly mentioned, that India has been pushing DPI learnings across the globe, and we have tried very hard, and there was resistance. I still remember for our G20, including in the Bali declaration and the New Delhi declaration, advanced economies did not want mention of DPI in the G20 leaders declaration, but we persisted, and India and Indonesia led the way. And the G20, if I recall a few lines from the G20 leaders declaration of the Delhi declaration of 2023, it said that global DPI should be built on open standards and specifications. Open source software can enable delivery of services at societal scale. In the Rio Declaration of 2024, it spelled out the potential of digital and emerging technologies to reduce inequalities. Digital public infrastructure leads to an equitable digital transformation and bridge existing divides. Indonesia joined BRICS last year at the 11th BRICS Communications Ministers meeting in Brazil. It declared that India's DPI model built on open interoperable platforms serves as a catalyst for financial inclusion, good governance, and digital innovation, also guarding against monopolistic practices. Through ION, Indonesia is adopting these principles to its own institutions, market structure, and national priorities. India is pleased to share its experience as a collaborative partner, not as a one-size-fits-all model. The MSME-centric partnership of ION is very important. We always talk of India and Indonesia and MSCs. I was just looking up data about one country, and Pa Ilham, you will be aware of it. Germany. We think that MSMEs are characteristics only of developing economies. I was looking up data on Germany. 99% businesses in Germany are MSMEs, Mittelstand. 53% of the workforce is in MSMEs. 55% of German GDP is from MSMEs. And more than 20% of German exports are from MSMEs. So Germany is the third largest export country in the world after China and the USA. I think German exports are about 1.5 trillion. So 20% from that comes from MSME. So a developed economy like Germany depends so much on MSMEs for economic production. So, we can understand the importance developed countries give, and so why not developing countries such as India and Indonesia? And we should do everything that is possible to strengthen MSMEs, and I think Bapa Mantri, you will play a critical role in the development and rollout of ION. And if MSMEs join this platform, I think Indonesia will see a great vibrancy in the economy and aspire to move from 5% to 8% growth. I believe that India and Indonesia are not just consumers of digital technology, we are co-creators of open digital infrastructure of the global south. So after India, I think India may have been the first to roll out an open architecture for digital commerce, but I am sure with the kind of support that we are seeing from everyone, that ION will be the fastest adopter and we can move very, very fast in onboarding both buyers and sellers and provide an alternative to the existing platforms that operate in the digital commerce space. I thank you all for your attention. I am very, very sure that few years down the line, we will look back on 5th February to see that, those who were there in this room today will remember that they played a small role, at least by their presence in the Indonesian Open Network. Thank you very much. Terima kasih banyak.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency Sandeep Jaraforty, Ambassador of India to Indonesia. Now we will move to our next keynote speech. It is our great honor to invite Dr. R.S. Sharma, former Chairman ONDC Open Network for Digital Commerce.
Good morning, friends. His Excellency Muhammad Abdul Rahman, Nazar Patria, Madam Shinta Kamdani, Ilham Habibi, Ambassador Sandeep Chakravarti, Sachin Gopalan, Mr. Koshi, Vikram Sinhaji. It's really a privilege and an honor for me to stand before you here today. And I would like to, I've been in Jakarta for a couple of days and I'm so sort of overawed by the kind of hospitality, the pleasant, environment, friendly environment. I really feel I should continue to stay here more, provided Mr. Gopalan and others are willing to extend my visa. It's truly an honor to be here, and I also, feel that India and Indonesia has so many similarities. We are two large democracies. We have huge diversity in terms of language, in terms of ethnicity, in terms of and we also have tremendous, diversities in every sense of the term, ethnic, religious, other kind of things. And therefore, what we have realized is that we need to create digital systems if we want to create digital systems. Those systems need to cater for that diversity. It should not be one-size-fits-all systems. So we need to make systems which are interoperable, which are scalable, which are standard-based, and most importantly, which are inclusive. They need to include everybody. You should not say that these systems are made for, one or two parts of digitally haves and not digital have-nots are excluded. So these are the kind of needs which are required in our countries or countries of our types. And while everybody has spoken about the open network for digital commerce and the ION and the learnings which we can have from that, I would like to share in brief a brief history of the digital public infrastructure which India has created and how we went about it. So essentially, we started the first digital public infrastructure we created was identity. And in my view, identity is so basic to access everything. Today you go to every formal system. The first question that system will ask, who are you? Prove me that you are who you claim to be. And therefore, to have a provable identity is absolutely necessary for any digital systems to be built on top of that. And we started building that identity in India, which is now called Aadhaar, in 2009. And the context of building that identity was that in India, you will be surprised to know at that time, there were 40% people who do not have any individual provable identity. Therefore, they cannot open a bank account, they cannot get a mobile SIM, they are excluded. The second problem was that many people were gaming their existing identity documents and drawing benefits multiple times. So there were duplicates and fakes in many databases. So they would get, they will create 3 identities and then they will get 3 times the ration, 3 times the kind of things. So basically elimination of duplicates and ghosts from the government side and providing identity to the people from the people's side. These 2 were the most important, sort of drivers for starting that project. And we started that project, and within 4 years, we completed the entire, sort of complete country. I was fortunate enough to be the mission director and director general of that project, first founding director general. So we learned from that, and you know what? We did not create an identity which is eligibility. We created a foundational identity. We did not create who gets what. We created who is who. So only that much. And we said every domain can build the eligibility on top of it. So if you are giving driving license, the identity is there. Now you test him for his driving skills and give a driving license. So we solved a common problem. Now that gave us an idea that this kind of architecture, where you try to solve common problem and then you can build products on top of it, takes care of both the issues of interoperability, issues of building applications, competitions, markets. So that's the architecture which actually we realized it's a wonderful thing to happen. On basis of Aadhaar, we created what is called electronic KYC. Electronic KYC actually ensures that you are able to open a bank account sitting at home, giving your digital KYC to the bank. Similarly, we created authentication whereby you can get ration from a ration shop, authenticating who you are. You can get mobile SIM authenticating yourself. We created digital signature on demand, which is called e-sign. We created digital locker. So we created multiple products on top of Aadhaar. And there is a whole ecosystem which got created around it. So once you create such a digital public infrastructure, then things happen. Things happen at an extraordinary speed. One more important thing is that it reduces friction. It reduces the cost of transaction. And that is what is required if you want to actually capture the bottom of the pyramid. Because ultimately, if your cost of transaction is very high, as Mr. Koshi was rightly saying, you will not be able to get a credit. Because to prove that you are credit worthy, you will have to probably spend more money than the credit you will get. So therefore, this kind of structure is absolutely necessary. The next phase came in 2016, where we realized that what if we can unbundle the payment system from the banking system? And that is what gave birth to UPI, the Unified Payment Interface. And again, it is based on the protocols. So like an internet is based on open protocol of HTTP, SMTP, all those kinds of things. Similarly, UPI is also based on backend protocol. And that actually what it did, it unbundled the payment system from the banking system. And today in UPI, you know how many transactions we carry each month? 22 billion. 22 billion transactions per month, which means every Indian on an average is doing 20 transactions a month. Almost one transaction every Indian every day. That's the scale. So the scale comes from the architecture. How do you design? So you design it for a scale. That's another lesson which we learned. And of course, identity and payment are fundamental horizontal digital public infrastructures because they are needed everywhere. They are needed in every transaction. So that is the architecture which we built upon that. After that, we realized that having solved these two problems of identity and payment, let us go down to other areas. So we started creating DPIs in health. So we have what is called Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission, which is essentially health records, digitization of health records. And again, we keep the individual at the center. So it is actually the person who is the patient, he alone can share and has control on his or her data. So it takes care of the Data Protection Act. So all these architectural principles are now perfected in some sense. So what I would say in ONDC, we started, just about three and a half years back. And that we started, what was the motivation for starting ONDC in India? One was, as Mr. Koshi pointed out, when you have a platform economy, the platforms actually have a tendency to become monopolies. You remember how many social media platforms are there? Only one, Facebook, and of course, Instagram, and they are children of the Facebook in some sense, WhatsApp also. Many years back, there was another platform called Orkut. Anybody remembers Orkut? Now, everything has been subsumed. The platforms have such network effect that, if all my friends are on WhatsApp, I will not be on Telegram, I will be on WhatsApp. So this kind of monopolistic behavior, and today you see in every sector, whether it is operating systems, you have iOS, you have Android, right? You have Windows, yes, you have Linux also, open source. You have digital, distribution platforms, App Store, Play Store, social media, Facebook, Amazon, some of these, and Chinese platforms are also there. So platforms actually tend to become monopolistic over a period of time. And believe me, digital monopolies are much harder to break than the physical monopolies. So that's one motivation. Another was, we found that when these digital commerce platforms are there, you have Amazon, and we have Amazon and Flipkart and some other smaller platforms. We found that many of the retail shops, they were all dying. Because basically you created a disruption which actually, they realized that it is better to sell on the digital platform than, selling it in the physical world. So and there were players who were larger players who were having what is called dark stores, and they will retain those things and they will sell directly. So we are actually killing these MSMEs and retail shops. They are all hollowing out. This is what is the impact of such kind of digital commerce, which is platform-centric. What we need, we do not need digitization with disruption. We need digitization and digital commerce without disruption. To have these mom and pop stores stay where they are, they should take leverage and advantage of digitization. That's the real, value proposition of ONDC. So we realize that if we create a platform of platforms, a network, a small digital commerce internet, a subnet, as they say in mathematics or whatever, a subnet of that internet, which is based on open protocols. That is what is most appropriate for our country with so much of diversity, with so much of, and also remember, these small, for example, these small players, small artisans who create products. The artisans' products will not be sold in that particular area. If a village is making some toy, the purchasers will not be from that village. They will require purchasers from somewhere else. And therefore, what is required is, if you want to have this, you need to unbundle the goods from the logistics, from the transport. And therefore, another principle of the open network is essentially unbundle. So we unbundled, for example, in UPI, we unbundled banks from the payment system. In the ONDC, we unbundle the logistics, the goods, and make it absolutely easy. We are democratizing the digital commerce using the ONDC architecture. And the same architecture is going to be in the EON. But EON has an advantage. We have, over the last 3 years, we have learned many things. We actually improvised and improved on many of these lessons. One such lesson was, how can you ensure easy onboarding? Somebody pointed out that, it's very important. If you have technology and that technology is so complex that a small retailer or a small MSME, he does not know how to onboard. He is not a technology worker. He's basically doing things, producing things and selling in the market. So how do you ensure that he onboards on this network? Therefore, the onboarding has to be made very, very easy. You have to have accelerators to ensure that onboarding takes place. That's one important lesson. Secondly, you need to provide assistance to them to catalog their products. They sell products, but they don't know how to package it, how to catalog it, how to take photographs, how to describe them. Therefore, you need to create common reusable utilities. That's very important. So these are some things which we have done, we have learned, and I think ION can start from day one, these things, so that these things are not an afterthought, but they are built into the design. Of course, certain other principles like digital trust, like customer is the king, those things will have to be done. Otherwise, people will lose trust, and once they lose trust in the network, it is useless. So friends, I've got this kit. So I'll close it here. I would like to wish, and I would like to be very happy that I remain associated with this project, and I think this will, as somebody was saying, India did it first, Indonesia will do the fastest. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sharma, for your insightful remarks. We will now move to one of the highlights of today's forum. It is our great honor to invite His Excellency Nezar Patria, Vice Minister of Communication and Digital, Republic of Indonesia, to deliver the keynote speech. Distinguished guests, please join me in welcoming His Excellency Nezar Patria.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Namaste. A very good morning to all. His Excellency Maman Abdul Rahman, Minister of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, Republic of Indonesia, Ambassador of India to Indonesia, His Excellency Sandeep Chakravorty, many distinguished guests here, Pak Sachin, Pak Vikram, Pak Ilham, Pak Sarma, and all of the distinguished guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I'm afraid I have nothing to say because everything has been discussed very clearly about our event this morning. But I think today is not just about discussion. Today is about action. Because this morning we are officially launching the Indonesia Open Network, or ION, and a new way of thinking about how digital commerce in Indonesia should work and who it should truly serve. Let me start with a simple reality. Indonesia's digital economy is growing fast, very fast. By the end of this year, its value is projected to pass 130 billion US dollar. Digital payments are now part of everyday life. In just the first half of 2025, we recorded more than 6 billion QRIS transactions. Those numbers are impressive, but they don't tell the whole story, actually. Because behind this growth, there is a gap we can't ignore. Indonesia has 64.2 million MSMEs. They generate about 61% of our GDP and support nearly 97% of our workforce, almost 112 or more, 120 million people. Yet only around 70.5 million of these businesses are truly integrated into the digital ecosystem. For many small merchants, especially outside major cities, the digital economy still feels difficult to enter. High commissions, limited access to data, and dependencies on closed platforms often mean that instead of empowering MSMEs, digital systems can quietly hold them back. For too many people, the digital economy still feels like a closed space, not an open one. This is exactly the problem of Indonesia Open Network is meant to solve. ION is inspired by the experience of India's Open Network for Digital Commerce, which has shown that open system can scale across hundreds of cities and millions of transactions. But ION is built for Indonesia's own geography, economy, and diversity. And let me be clear, ION is not another super app. ION is an open, decentralized network, and it spurs buyers, sellers, and open logistic providers and connects them through open standards such as the backend protocol. This means that any business, large or small, can be discovered and transact across different applications without being logged into one platform. In practical terms, ION open access, it gives MSMEs more choices, more visibility, and more control over how they grow. Ladies and gentlemen, ION is also about turning policy into something that actually works on the ground. Trade Minister Regulation number 31 of 2023 was designed to restore fairness and protect domestic MSMEs from unfair practices. But the regulation alone is not enough. We also need the right technical infrastructure. ION provides that infrastructure, supporting transparent discovery, interoperable system, and traceable transaction, so that fairness is not just written in policy, but built into the system itself. At the same time, ION will serve as the foundation for our Garuda Spark program. As Indonesia works toward nurturing 2 million tech entrepreneurs, ION gives startups something critical, national scale infrastructure from the start. Instead of building isolated platforms one by one, innovators can build out on the top of ION and immediately reach the broader Indonesian market. As we look ahead to Golden Indonesian Vision 2045, our ambition is clear: to become one of the world's top 5 economies. To get there, we cannot remain only digital consumer. We must become digital creators and owners. IONs support that shift, I believe, not just a commerce network, but as a part of broader digital public infrastructure that helps reduce digital inequality, especially beyond major urban centers, improve productivity through shared standard in logistics and financing, and strengthen digital sovereignty by building a natural and future-ready national asset. Ladies and gentlemen, let me close with this. The big unlock we are talking about today is not just about technology. It's about trust, collaboration, and shared opportunity. To developers and industry players, we invite you to connect and build on ION. To MSME owners across Indonesia, this network is designed with you in mind. And to our international partners, Indonesia is demonstrating how open digital commerce can work, and we welcome your collaborations. ION marks the next phase of Indonesia's digital journey, where openness, fairness, and inclusion are not just principles, but the foundations of our digital archipelago. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency Nazar Patria, Vice Minister of Communication and Digital of the Republic of Indonesia. We will arrive at the final and most anticipated keynote speech of the day, and it's our great honor to invite His Excellency Mr. Maman Abdurrahman, Minister for Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, MSME of the Republic of Indonesia to deliver the keynote speech. Distinguished guests, please join me in welcoming His Excellency Mr. Maman Abdurrahman.
Tes. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan, Namaste. Excellency, Mr. Nazar Patria, Vice Minister of Communication and Digital Republic of Indonesia. Give applause for him. Mr. Sandip Chakravorty, the Ambassador of India. Give applause for him. Mr. Ambassador, when I heard your name, Sandip Chakravorty, I remember Mithun Chakraborty. Yeah. When I was a child, my mother always bring me to watching an Indian movie. Yeah, that's because my father and my grandfather came from Kerala, Indian South India. Yeah, that's why until now, I already saw to Mr. Ambassador, if you see my Netflix algorithm, when you open my account, you will see the all of Indian movie in my Netflix. And Miss Sinta Kamdani, Chairman of Apindo, Mr. Ilham Habibi, Chairman of PIE, and Mr. Sarma, Chairman of ONDC, Open Network for Digital Commerce, Sachin Gopalan, Founder and CEO, Indonesian Economic Forum. Wait a minute, Gopalan, do you know about the song? Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopalan Jaya Jaya, Raramana Hari. Gopalan Jaya Jaya. Why I sing this song? Because I see all of people in this room, so many Indian people. When I heard about the Indians, in our head, we always remember about the singing a song, dancing, and something like that. And do you know, Pak Presiden Prabowo Subianto, when he meet with me, he always told me, Inspector Vijay. Yeah. And last week, he met with me, he said like, hey, Inspector Vijay, nehi. Yes, yeah. Do you know why he told me Inspector Vijay? Because my father is police, the one of police of Indonesia with the Indian blood. All of the police, Indonesian police, call him Inspector Vijay. And I said like this to my father, he already passed away. Do you know, don't become an Indian police. Why? Because based on the Indian movie, the police India always come when the enemy is dead. just kidding, sir. No. Nice. Thank you very much, Mr. Gopalan. And Mr. Kosi, the CEO of and Managing Director ONDC, Primus Dorimulu, the President of Director Investor Trust, Vikram Sinha, the CEO of Indosat, and Siddharth Prakash from Google, Satvinder Singh, no, all of Indian. No. DSG Asian and James Kestel, President of Director of Kestel Asia, and Suresh Sethi, the CEO of Protean, nice speech, and Veronica Utami, Country Director of Google, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, nice to meet you, and thank you very much for your attending to this event. I come to this event with two guys. He is the important person in my ministry, especially this program. This is Mr. Anang. Please stand up. He is the head of Bureau Data and Information Technology. And Mr. Hermawan, he is my special staff. His competency is the IT engineer, and he's the man, the important man in my ministry to develop this system. We call this is Sapa UMKM. Do you know what is Sapa UMKM? Sapa UMKM is Namaste. In Indian, it's Namaste. Yeah. First and foremost, we are grateful for the blessing that have allowed us to come together today at the 12th Annual Indonesia Economic Forum, as well as the launch of Indonesia Open Network. Building a national MSME ecosystem through Sapa UMKM. Do you know, sir, until now, I already 1 year become a minister. This is the wonderful job, and almost all politicians in Indonesia want to become minister. Yeah, trust me. I think Mr. Gopalan, if he become an Indonesian citizen, he want to become a minister too. But do you know? Maybe I am the one of younger politician in Indonesia get the maybe very like me in English beruntung. What does it mean beruntung? Very lucky to get this position. But until now, I think I'm not a lucky guys if I cannot build this system. Because God give me these positions, if I don't building this system, do you know, until now we have around the 60 million micro, small, and medium enterprises. And until now, they don't have one community, one ecosystem, one door shopping services, something like that. They don't know how they can get the pembiayaan, how they can get the marketing, how they can get to improve their skill, something like that. That's why this mission for me is very, very important to connect it, same like Nokia, connecting people. Yeah, to build this system, and we call this system is Sapa UMKM. There is no doubt that MSME constitute is the backbone of Indonesia economy. Currently, our challenge is no longer limited to increasing the number of MSME, but to building a national ecosystem that effectively and equitably connect MSME entrepreneurs with government services and ecosystem partner. Sapa UMKM and the Indonesia Open Network are designed as a foundational architecture of this ecosystem, not only as additional application, but as unifying system for MSME empowerment at the national level. Last week, when Ibu Sita Kamdani came to my office with Mr. Gopalan, and Mr. Gopalan is very serious. He bring his laptop and he want to present to me, and he said, Indian Open Network is like this, blah, 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 blah. And stop it. Stop. I already know. Now let's do it. We must build this system to Indonesia. Yeah. Because, this is a very important for our MSME. And when I heard the little bit presentation from Mr. Gopalan, I said to Ms. Sinta Kamdani, let's do it, don't talk too much, and let's execute. Yeah. I think this is better than we only talk like that. Yeah, that's why I said to Ms. Sinta Kamdani, after this we must meeting to a little bit technically, operation, and if you want making this ceremony, it's okay, good, but until now, let's working together between your team, Protean, and all of that with our ministry, and including the Ministry of Komdiki. And I feel comfortable because of many Indian people. Just kidding. Because I'm meeting, Pak Prabowo, when he testing the DNA, his DNA, a lot of blood of him is Indian people. Around 30% maybe. Yeah. If same like me. That's why when I meet with Mr. Gopalan, I feel comfortable because I saw many Indian, many like this, something like that. And MSME contribute approximately, you already know about the 60% of Indonesia gross domestic product and absorb around the 97% of the national workforce, representing almost 117 million people. But do you know this number maybe almost there around 90%, they still in the informal worker. That's why I need to build this system to make them from the informal worker to become the formal worker. That's we really need this system to integration, to give the legalization, something like that to our to micro, small, and medium enterprises. Significant role, MSME policy is essentially a people-centered economic policy. Nevertheless, MSME continue to face a range of structural challenge, including limited access to market, finance, logistic, and technology. Based on Mr. I forgot your name, sir, sorry. Aras Sarma, you already, and Mr. CEO of Yon, Pak Kosi, you already present to a market and give the payment system, something like that. I think this is very good. In addition, a fragmented service ecosystem and the absence of integrated MSME data have constrained the effectiveness and precision of the policy intervention. From a sustainability perspective, a 2023 study by the Institute for the Essential Service Reform estimate that emission generated by MSME could reach approximately around 216 million tons of CO2. This underscores that MSME transformation should be pursued in productive and sustainable manner. In this context, MSME digitalization has been designed as a national priority, lined with Indonesian 2025 to 2029. Strategic Program for MSME and Entrepreneurship Development 2026. To support the transformation of MSME, the government has established a strategic program for MSME and entrepreneurship development in 2026, including Sapa UMKM, MSME holding, expand access to finance and investment, MSME participation in the free nutrition meal program, partnership and downstreaming, the entrepreneur hub and business transformation through formalization and certification. Sapa UMKM serve as the central foundation that integrated and connect all these strategies program with a single national ecosystem. The need for an integrated platform and the role of Sapa UMKM. Up to now, MSME entrepreneurs have had to deal with multiple application and fragmented service channels, which will increase administrative burden and divert attention from business development. The state must play an active role in simplifying this process. Sapa UMKM was developed as an integrated national platform that connects MSME data across ministries, institutions, and local government, and consolidate MSME empowerment services from upstream to downstream through a single entry point. I think when I saw this is so very, very similar, so very, very same with Indian Open Network vision, plan, and concept. That's why I think this is very easy to us to collaborate this system together between India and Indonesia. Under the 2025-2029 RPJMN, the government aims to enhance MSME productivity, strengthening business capacity and access to productive resource and reinforce competitiveness. This target cannot be achieved without accurate MSME data and integrated service delivery. Accordingly, Sapa UMKM is positioned as the primary platform for cross-agency integration of business services and for leveraging the single MSME database as the main reference for policy formulation. A national MSME data profile as of 31 December 2025, Indonesia is home to more than 30 million MSME, of which approximately around 99% are micro enterprises, 0.24% small enterprises, and 0.05% medium enterprises. This composition highlights both the enormous potential of MSME and their structural vulnerability, highlighting the need for a comprehensive transformation through an integrated national ecosystem. This year, we have around 30 million data of micro, small, and medium enterprises. But this data is still static data. We get this data from 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. But until now, we need to convert this data to become dynamic data. We have updating and the activity of all of micro and small medium enterprises. That's why we have to build Sapa UMKM. And when I heard your presentation, I think this is a very good if we can collaborate and we can sharing the technology between your team and our team. And sir, we have the philosophy this, when maybe around 8 months ago, I got this philosophy, earn and sugar. Yeah, with the old policy, I called the MSME with the analogical is earned. All of you people in here, I analogy, you are the earned. The old policy, as a government, I come to one by one to you. When I want to know about the micro in the food, something like the food enterprises, I come to them. We come to them. But until when? We cannot we cannot give the best solution and to mapping about the problem or something like that. And now, we're changing our mind. We put the sugar in this desk, and all of you come to the sugar. And this is the philosophy of Sapa UMKM. We create the one system, the super application system, Sapa UMKM, and we call Sapa UMKM as a sugar, and then we make the all of us in Indonesia, they come to the sugar. This is our philosophy. We only changing this philosophy. Yes, we are where there is sweetness and will inevitability gather, MSME entrepreneur are more willing to register and update their data when they perceive clear and tangible benefit. Accordingly, Sapa UMKM is designed not as an administrative obligation, but as an incentive-based platform that provides access integrated services and direct value for MSME entrepreneurs. I think this is a very similar, ya, Pak Gopalan, ya. Be careful, Pak Gopalan, your position can change with me. Yeah, because your concept is so already same with our concept. I think this is very dangerous for you, all of you. You must don't ever meet with your president. Because when I meet with your prime minister, yeah, Mr. Modi, I think Modi will give me your position. At present, we face several fundamental challenges, including static and high maintenance MSME database, fragmented services platform across agency, low MSME capacity and productivity, and limited access to finance due to insufficient legal status and bankable business data. At the core of this challenge lies a single issue, the fragmentation of MSME ecosystem. Sapa UMKM is designed as the primary platform for implementing government priority program. All program process from pre-implementation to post-implementation are conducted through a single integrated system. MSME entrepreneurs can independently and regularly update their business data, enabling a shift from a static, consensus-based approach to dynamic data driven by active MSME participants. For MSME entrepreneurs, Sapa UMKM provide access to a wide range of services, including business formalization, financing, training, certification, and partnership. For the government, Sapa UMKM serves as a real-time data acquisition and monitoring instrument for MSME development. The guiding principle is one MSME, one identity, one database for multiple benefit. Sapa UMKM is not a standalone platform, but serves as a collaborative platform connecting the central government, local government, state-owned enterprises, the private sector, and communities. The state provides the digital highway while all stakeholders are empowered to move, collaborate, and innovate upon it. Through this collaboration, Indonesia national MSME ecosystem can grow in a healthy, inclusive, and sustainable manner. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, SAPA UMKM and the Indonesia Open Network constitute critical foundation for building an inclusive, sovereign, and sustainable digital collaboration of a stakeholder, and we can ensure that Indonesia MSME not only survive, but also grow, scale up, and emerge as a driving force national company. Thank you very much, sir, and thank you. And for my last speech, I hope after this we can collaborate together, and maybe I can go to India and meeting with Depika Padukone, Kriti Sanun, Ali Abad, and maybe Sarukan. Thank you. Nice to meet you. And Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and thanks to all of you.
Your Excellency, please stay on the stage. Please stay on the stage. Thank you. We are proceed with the official launch ceremony of the Indonesia Open Network, ION. To mark this important milestone, we would like to respectfully invite the following distinguished guests to kindly join us on stage for the launch ceremony. His Excellency Nezar Patria, His Excellency Sandip Chakravorty, Dr. Ilham A. Habibi, Mrs. Simta Kamdani, Dr. Soni H. Sudaryana, Mr. T. Koshi, Dr. R. S. Sharma, Mr. Ronald Walla, Mr. Vikram Sinha, Dr. Rani Brookmore, Dr. Bayu Prawirahi, Mr. Primus Dorimulu, and Mr. Sachin V. Gopalan. The launch ceremony of the Indonesia Open Network ION will be officially conducted by His Excellency Mr. Maman Abdurrahman, Minister for Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises MSMEs, Republic of Indonesia. We kindly invite His Excellency Mr. Maman Abdurrahman to perform the hand scan on the screen. May we also ask all cameramen and photographer to be ready to capture this special moment. Let's begin with the countdown. 2, 1. Congratulations on the official launch of the Indonesia Open Network ION.
A strong Indonesia is built when opportunity reaches everyone. But today, too many are left out of the digital economy. That's why we are building ION, Indonesia Open Network, a nation-building movement for an inclusive digital economy. ION opens access to markets so MSMEs can grow, communities can trade, and new digital services can emerge. And with every new connection, ION creates real jobs for youth across commerce, logistics, technology, and beyond. ION is how Indonesia grows together. Join the movement.
Once again, congratulations on the official launch of the Indonesia Open Network ION. Ladies and gentlemen, again, please join me in giving a big round of applause. Thank you. May we kindly ask all distinguished guests to remain on stage as we will receive a token of appreciation from the Indonesia Economic Forum, IEF. We are honored to invite Mr. Sachin Vigopalan, CEO and founder of Indonesia Economic Forum, to kindly present the souvenirs to all our esteemed guests. At this moment, we also request all cameramen and photographer to be ready to capture this special moment. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please give them another warm round of applause. Thank you. Now, may we kindly ask all of distinguished guests to return to their seat. Thank you all distinguished guests. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to express our sincere thanks to our generous supporters and partners of today's event: Google, Protean, Keros, and Pitch. Thank you for your support in making this program possible. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now take a short break. Please feel free to enjoy the coffee and snack provided in the foyer area. We kindly invite all guests to return to the main hall to join the IEF Talks Panel 1, which will begin at after lunch at 1 p.m. with the theme, The Open Network Powering Financial Services. For our media colleague, you are invited to proceed directly to the press conference, which will be held in the Intan Mirah Room next to the Tiara Grand Ballroom to the right of the stage. Once again, for our media colleague, you are invited to proceed directly to the press conference, which will be held in the Intan Mirah Room next to the Tiara Grand Ballroom to the right of the stage. We will break and look forward to seeing you back for the next session of the 12th Annual Indonesia Economic Forum, Curtain Raiser on Indonesia Open Network, ION. Enjoy your lunch. Thank you.